This is part 8 of my series of videos showing my romance novel collection. And in this video, I'm going to show the books that I have written by the writer Arlene Hale. And these books were all written by her. I had mentioned in a previous video, I think it was part 3, talking about the Candlelight romance series, that I had more Arlene Hale books. And these are them. This is book number 29. And A Nurse for Sandcastle. Let's see what year it was. April 1969 is when that came out. And she wrote a lot of nurse novels during the 60s. This is Orphanage Nurse, 1970. There's actually a blog called Vintage Nurse Romance Novels. And the blogger there will review some of these old 1960s nurse novels, including ones by Arlene Hale. But the blogger doesn't actually care for Arlene Hale. Most of her reviews, she's not too pleased. But that's book number 43. This has more of a intrigue type look to it. Executive Nurse, the book number 65. Now, I keep these books separate from my other Candlelight romance series because I bought them online and they had a kind of musty smell to them, so I intend to air them out at some point. Now, this is book number 169, 170, and 171. These are all written by Arlene Hale. Candlelight Romantic Suspense. They're all that Candlelight romance series. Let's see what year. Midnight Nightmare came out May 1975. This has a very 70s looking cover. And here we have Perilous Weekend. Again, these are all romantic suspense. See if that can focus any better there. Here we go. An Arlene Hale special. There's some more here. This one on the right, Stranger on the Beach, actually just came in the mail today. It was one I purchased online. And then we have, this is book 203 and 217. And two more Candlelight romances. Two more romance novels. This one's a nurse in residence. And that's book 226. Now, she also wrote for Ace Books in the 1960s, and these are two, a lot of the Ace books had this sort of format early on, and then later they had another format, which I'll show you, but they would say Ace Nurse Romance Series, like up in the corner there. Sometimes they'd have little drawings, too. This one doesn't. This is 1970. And let's see about this one. There we go. Walk Softly, Doctor. And it has a little, this is 1971. See, sometimes they would have, like later on, they had these type of covers, but they were actually reprints of the ones from the 1960s. So, Arlene Hale is the author of the following Ace books. There's a lot. Let's see, again, it has a little illustration there. This one's copyright 1964. But this book, this edition isn't actually from 1964. You can kind of tell from the price and everything. It's probably early 70s. And another one here. At one point I did have two Arlene Hale books that were the same title. One had this type of format and the other had the previous type of format. And it was the same novel. It just had a different, wow, lots of, those are all books by Arlene Hale. So, and they're all in alphabetical order. So she wrote a lot of them for Ace. You got a little picture there. This one's copyright 1967. This one was actually, it says first paperback publication, so maybe it was a reprint of a hardcover. Nurse Julia's Tangled Gloves. And this one is from 1976, it says. Now, actually, the only Arlene Hale book that I myself have read was this one. This is an ex-library copy. It's a hardcover, Goodbye to Yesterday, published by Little, Brown and Company in 1973, I believe. Let's see here. Yes. First edition, 1973. Whoop, can't really see it there too well. But, and it has, it has almost like a kind of Nancy Drew style to it. It was a sort of a mystery romance. And she has a kind of, well, it's hard to describe, I guess, sort of a terse way of writing things. She isn't too flowery in her writing, and almost kind of like a hard-boiled detective type of style. But again, but a kind of romance thing too. Things are kind of, very to the point. So it's not very flowery at all. Now, it has a picture of her on the back there, also by Arlene Hale, and there's a photo of her. And it says, "When love returns, the season of love, the runaway heart, a time for us, and promise of tomorrow." Well, turns out, these all came in the mail today. When love returns, the season of love, the runaway heart, a time for love, promise of tomorrow. I got them all on paperback. So this one probably came out in paperback as well later on. And hopefully I'll find it, because I would rather have the paperback than these hardcovers. I actually got this in the mail today. Another hardcover Arlene Hale, and ex-library copy too, as it happens. This one is kind of rough condition. The Other Side of the World. Whoops, see where the 1976. And it has a different picture of her on the back cover there. So there's Arlene Hale. And she also wrote, by the way, under different pen names sometimes. There was Gail Everett and some others, I believe. So these are published by Bantam Books in the 1970s, and they were reprints of those Little Brown and Company hardcovers. And again, I just got these in the mail today. See, it says Little Brown edition 1970, but this Bantam edition is 1972. And there's that, and then that's When Love Returns. Then there's The Season of Love. And then The Runaway Heart, again by Bantam Books. A Time for Us, another Bantam Books edition. Promise of Tomorrow. And that's it for the Bantam books that I had. I didn't have any Bantam books before today. This just came in the mail. Now also, Signet Books in the 1970s was publishing a lot of her stuff. So these are two of Arlene Hale books I have published by Signet. Now let's see the copyright info, if I can get it here. This is 1976 on that one. And here's some more. A Vote for Love and In Love's Own Fashion from the 1970s, published by Signet. Two more here. Legacy of Love and Gateway to Love. I'll show the covers there better. For the 1970s. Now finally, she also wrote for young adults. This one here is a really old one. It's from the 1960s, that she wrote for Scholastic. And it's like 1968. I guess it originally came out in hardcover in 1966. And it's kind of beat up condition, but it's really old. Again, I just got this in the mail today. Now, some of her final work, she died in like 1982, Arlene Hale did, and there was a series called Wildfire that was sort of romance-type novels for teenagers in the early 1980s. And so some of her final books were for this series. She wrote like two of them, and this is the only one I have. Let's see the copyright date there. So 1981. Like I said, I think she died. A Wildfire book is a part of that series. And this is some more Wildfire books published there. But yeah, I believe she wrote one other Wildfire book, and then that was it, and then she passed away. So that's it. Whoa, for my, they're just kind of falling over now, for my Arlene Hale books. Thanks for watching.